for.
This was this actually had to do with the badge. Well, that had to do with bachelor's degree, but it had to do with you saying, John, that you want to run your own company, right? You never want to work for somebody after you become older and everything like that.
In 2 years, I want to be working for myself.
So I think, and this is what I've thought too, right? I also want to work myself. I want to be my own boss. Blah blah blah. I think a lot of people of people say that, and then they realize how fucking hard it is to make a company, right? And then to fail and to lose so much money, and then they're like, you're at that point. It's like, I can't feed my kids because I don't have enough sales, and it's like you get to that point where screw this, I'm getting a W-2 job. I'm gonna work for somebody else, and like I've heard that story a billion times.
Yeah.
And like even people that like have the knowledge, can own their own brokerage, that like people would even say they would give them money to start, and they're just like, screw that. I've tried before. It is so hard. Like it's so easy to fail that I think so many people go back to being a W-2 worker. Now, what do you say? Like,
that's true.
And this is me kind of just being a real estate agent, right? For the past 6 months.
And you being realistic. I mean, no, it's true.
And it's like, do I want to be a real estate agent for my entire life? To tell you the truth, after seeing all the bullshit people give you, man, I obviously still want to, like, you know, be an entrepreneur, but it's like sometimes I think about maybe in a year I don't want to. I don't want to be. I don't want my major the biggest part of my income to come through a 1099. Maybe I want it to be W-2.
Aaron, go with your comment.
And just have it as a side hustle.
I was gonna actually hold on. I was actually gonna go back to the business side. I think the easiest business to start and run and make a living off of it is a service-based business. The harder businesses are the products that, like, you know, you're selling something.
Tie up capital.
Yeah. So like you have to inventory, you have inventory costs, all
for
that.
sure. And then like that just shows how much harder it is. But even like give me the smallest business ever, like the easiest business to set up ever, like
lawn mowing single
you
person.
Still 100%, like
Probably.
you still
service oriented, one employee, and that employee is yourself, who also
but then it's
the
like
books.
when you get to a point, it's like, is it worth it in the winter? Oh shit,
right?
No,
absolutely.
Like
you're
right?
right.
I mean, it's and like I think there's so many variables to being an entrepreneur. Sometimes I like to watch Dave Ramsey just to make me less excited, to be more realistic and be like, hold on, like I might not be this super rich real estate investor when I retire, you know.
Well, Aaron, go with your comment.
Because
you definitely have some truth to that. It's the service side, and I was gonna say something very similar.
So the reason why I actually started the lawn mowing thing was because it seemed easy. It's probably the easiest thing to start when you're young.
And are you making a profit right now?
Right now at this time, yes.
There you go.
But now, granted, I'm still negative because of equipment purchases. But I'm making money every month.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm probably banking maybe $500 a month just on mowing.
But then,
I
so
think
it's like
easy.
you definitely you don't plan for that to be your career. Obviously, you don't want to be unless you do.
No, but I do plan on being a passive income stream.
For how long?
Until I sell it.
Yeah.
So that's what I was planning on. If
sell it on Craigslist.
Yeah, I mean, like, this probably not that, but I don't know. Who knows?
But then it's like, so
Who
like
knows,
how
but-
many? There's like a billion lawn mowing companies out there, right? It's like
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people start the lawn mowing company, right? And it's like, why?
And I think the easiest way to get out of it is to you go to another company and say, "Hey, I have 100 accounts. Do you want them?" That's probably the easiest way.
And I guess
to
the reason
sell
is
it.
why are you? If it's such a good company though, like why are you selling it, right?
Probably. There's probably a number of reasons why.
Yeah, 100%. But I feel like a lot of
maybe
reasons,
they didn't manage it right. Maybe they're in that fact where they're working in it all the time. They're getting tired of it.
I think if I was super ambitious,
So,
even more
okay.
so than I am right now, I would not say it's going to be 2 years. I'd say it's going to be tomorrow.
Okay.
The reason I say 2 years is because I fully recognize to make the smoothest transition possible to have like a profitable small business, it needs to be as close as possible to something you have experience making money with already. So in my uncle's scenario, he runs a pretty profitable car tinting, house tinting, solar shade window and tint company. And he's got multiple branches. And before that, he tinted cars under somebody else's company. So for him to transition, he knew how it worked. He knew the expenses. He had an idea of what he was going to be getting into. And I think he had a very smooth transition. I hope to do that same thing when some point over the next 2 years, I work for somebody else that does Sprinter van or just less than truckload expediting. I hope to, start off fairly high in their company and learn what their expenses are, where they get trucks from, how they get their accounts, so that effectively for me to transition into doing my own thing, it's as close as possible to me just putting up the money and buying the insurance and the other tangibles you have to buy. And for Aaron's case, let's say if Aaron's an accountant, his ideal thing would be just to start his own accounting firm. Mm-hmm. He would be so comfortable with being an accountant already, and that might take more than 2 years. I have no idea.
Yeah, it would probably take
I think it would
10
take
years.
a lot.
Take a while, but
to get the connections to.
But that'd be the most ideal, for him to transition to a small business and be able to like sound it out mentally. It would just be, you've gotten all this free experience along the way. So now, if you think it's something you're interested enough in to take full responsibility for, why not buy some Sprinter vans?
Okay. Another question to kind of add on to this, and I've heard yes and no to this question through big professionals on YouTube or whatever. Both sides of it. So, question is, should you have a backup plan? Should you have a plan B, or should you go throw everything you can into it? And is that kind of the question is, are you going to have a backup plan or a plan B? Keep that W-2 job from the side, have a part-time just in case it doesn't work out?
I am 100% going to go with Dave Ramsey's advice with, I will have 6 months expenses saved up.
Is that for the business or for yours?
For me and my
own
family.
home.
For me and my family. Right? But for the W-2 side of it, I guess my backup plan would probably be to,
just be a logistics coordinator,
just
right?
go back to logistics or go back to, whatever the position would be. Because I am looking for, if there's a good freight expediting company in Jacksonville, I'm looking for good opportunities with that. I think even if it pays less, it's worth more.
Okay, but then say you find a company that pays you 80 grand, 100, you're making 100 grand salary a year, right? Are you gonna let that go to start your own company? Would you? Is it worth it?
80 grand to 100 grand would allow me to bank up, because I do not need 100 grand to live right now. I live by myself and I have a very cheap mortgage. If I made 100 grand for 1 year, that alone may be enough to lift my company off the ground. And that's what I'm more ambitious about. So yes, I would leave that. Especially if I felt, and that's where it's going to default back to, if I felt comfortable enough starting it. It's not even necessarily the money. It's the fact that it's mine.
I guess kind of the awesome thing, again, right? We're so young, right? We don't have any responsibilities. Yeah. We don't have a wife. We don't have kids to support. So I guess that's why Gary Vee says he'd rip his arms and legs off just to be 25 again, right? Because we could do anything we want, right?
I mean, you can fail a couple times and still look pretty much like everybody else.
We can all sell our,
we can all sell our cars.
Live with our parents, start over, right? Like, I guess that's kind of the good thing.
And that's the big reason why, even before I get that job with a expediting company, I want to talk to somebody that does this for a living and preferably owns a company.
We need an expediter from Jacksonville on this podcast.
Cash reward if you can refer one.
We need like a Jax Re-Up for logistics.
And your cash reward is $10.
John, and I bet look for. I bet there's a bunch of Facebook groups. Look for logistics, transportation, freight. There's definitely masterminds. I guarantee you there's masterminds for logistics. I guarantee you there's a bunch of people that meet up every single month to talk about logistics, their company, and what they're doing to grow it. And I think you should 100% get on top of that. Kind of how I did, jumping into this investment and talking to as many people as I can.
Yeah.